Okay, greetings. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so I haven't done one of these in a long time. Project Montauk, the Wilson Memo. I've talked about all this stuff before in the past. It's like, how far you can go with it. And do you want to get an energy attack today? I've had them in the past. But Project Montauk is also connected to Stranger Things, inspired it. Of course, that's not like a kiddie show. It's can't get past the first episode. So there's some truths to a lot of that stuff, of course. What they do, I'm trying to talk. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, is it worth it? I know so many people want just like, hey, go into the deeper stuff. It's like, yeah, then you get an energy attack, and was it even worth it? Probably not. But the Project Montauk is about psychic abilities, weaponizing it, remote viewing, things of that kind, telekinesis, probably a lot more. I'm just going through briefs of it. Wilson Memo, I talked about this in a long time. I forgot about it, about how it was discussed through the military as like a shadow government or some kind of shadow group. Of course, everything's old now. Everything's so quiet these days, for obvious reasons. The Philadelphia experiment, that's another old one. Basically, they took a ship and went through time, and then it disappeared, then it came back, and then people were they're like halfway in the ship, it was like a horror movie. At least according to the account, which probably did happen, where it's like you have a person that's half like in a wall, like stuck in a wall or stuck in the ground. It's like a nightmare. But it did go through time. It feels like it. And they're still doing those experiments now. It's just that nothing's public. Doesn't mean that's still happening anymore. Some of that's connected to alien technology for sure. Is it Roswell crash related? It could be other. I feel like it's Roswell crash related, but something like that. Because even like an alien ship can go through portals and all that, so why can't it can go through time also? So, and also the Owl Collective, the owls. No surprise, right? Yeah, Project Montauk, Philadelphia experiment, and you have owl people. It's connected to cabal energy. Not to say all the owls are connected to that, but there's something going on there, of course. So this is all kind of a heavy frequency. It's not part of your weapon light group. It's like love and light and lost all over. It gets really cult like out there. It's getting really culty. I guess the rest of the world will eventually see it. I haven't seen it yet, but they will eventually. It'll get some light over time. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I'm surprised it's not getting the attention that it doesn't matter. Project Montauk. Okay, well, let's go to other things first before we get going. Just do a tapping in. Cybertone.com. We have private sessions. We have a scheduler. We have the shop here. Scheduler. Social network behind the scenes. Okay. Get that out of the way. Just making sure all systems go. Project Montauk. At least I guess I could have titled this something differently, like a shadow version of NASA. Not to say this is Montauk related, but technically it is. Like the shadow government version of NASA. It does have a South Africa connection. Doesn't mean that they're launching spaceships into the sky. I'm not saying that. I don't know where they're doing that. Parts of Russia, I think they do have I'm not sure where that's happening currently. But of course, they can do it through alien technology and all that. But South Africa has like a hidden version of NASA. Of course, it's in the U.S. too. So in the U.S., there is a shadow version of NASA in New York City somewhere. Now, as it goes worldwide, so it's not just one place. But those are like predominant places. I get New Zealand, of course, whoever goes there. So yeah, it's just all the psychic work that's going on. Um, I would say still like the Philadelphia area, some kind of experiments like the Philadelphia experiment. I mean, it's called that. Was it done in Philadelphia? I don't remember the whole story on it, but they do go back to the origins where it occurred, so they can create scenarios again every once in a while for like they go back to wherever the experiments are done, so they can improve upon some of the experiments. Yeah, it's all NORAD is aware of it. In the U.S., like a shadow version, no surprise there, right? Because they're watching the skies, they let 9/11 happen, and so on. So NORAD has some idea of it. Obviously, higher up. I mean, this is nothing new, probably for many people, but yeah, NORAD is kind of like a shadow version of NASA, you can say. Of course, you have the Navy. Um, yeah, of course, you have a shadow version of the Navy, of course. Obviously, it goes in secret space programs, stuff like that. Obviously, it's all underground. Again, New Mexico energy, obviously. More New Mexico than Nevada. Wherever Los Alamos is, I think that's in New Mexico. It's near Los. Of course, it's not stuff you can prove. We're just tapping into it. Well, of course, Lockheed Martin has some idea of these things. Obviously, people high up, they don't have all the knowledge. They just know that they get a lot of money to cover things up. Meaning, like they get paid to create these things. So it's kind of like the government. Obviously, is I mean, Lockheed Martin is basically a branch of the government. Technically, it's like a private version of it. But that's of course they're connected to universities. Harvard University, of course, seems to be one of the stronger ones. Probably others, but Harvard is pretty strong. Of the Coverup, basically. There's probably other universities involved, obviously, but Yale kind of Harvard seems to be the top one with the vibe I'm getting. Of course, Oxford's pretty strong also. Harvard University obviously is not. They might call it a university. It's got other stuff going on, obviously. I mean, on the surface, it's a university, but just like anything else, it has like a shadow version of it. And the shadow version is well aware of what's going on. Yeah, there's not that many that's involved with it. It's not people that you would see on the board of directors or anything like that. It's like it's somebody it's not somebody you would be able to look up. No surprise. It is part of recruitment though. Recruitment to projects and all that. I love it. So at least that's one branch of it. But Los Alamos, because you never hear about Los Alamos, like ever. And that's, I would say if there's anything secret space program or anything it's related to that, at least on a public level, that we can tap into. Greenland, you never hear about Greenland ever. There's some kind of projects, I wouldn't say a lot. Well, you never know. Yeah, just Greenland. We'll just leave it at that. There's probably nothing on the surface though. So anyway, well, the energy I get from Greenland is like there's two versions, like the reality of, let's put it this way, of even Area 51. I felt this where Area 51, it might look like it on the surface, but then like the energy shifts and there's something there that they're hiding. I know it sounds like, I mean, our reality can be manipulated. The Greenland feels like there's two versions of Greenland. There's the version that you see, and there's another version that you can't see. Something out of a movie, right? But I mean, you can say that to anywhere. But anyway, yeah, that's yeah, like New York City. There's like another version of that, and so on, and yeah, good luck on proving that stuff. So always putting that out there as something to think about. Let's put it that way. All right, so it's happened in Project Montauk. Great. Fingers crossed. Yeah, and you wonder why things are, people don't go too deep on things anymore because, this platform and just is it worth it? Does anybody care? Some people do, most people don't. So what's the point of it? So, all right. Okay, we're going to Project Montauk, Philadelphia experiment, and the Owl Collective. So, all right. So we basically connect to a consciousness of Project Montauk. Maybe some of the 11 Light people might get kind of spooked out by it, but oh well. Maybe they'll awaken. So, all right. Here we go. Blessings. Greetings, we had consciousness. Project Montauk. Yes, it's an alien frequency. It's a being that doesn't want to be messed with. It is a high-powered consciousness that wants to, you can say, take energy from others, such as humans, basically to use them as experiments. The Montauk energy is an alien frequency. Basically, think of it like a realm that's been tapped into. It's basically think of it as a psychic realm of the astral realm without taking psychedelics. But taking psychedelics can get to that realm. They say that the word Montauk came to individuals. There's a long story to all this, but the location of Montauk was purpose for energy, for portals, to open up a portal. Basically, yes, black magic, of course, has been done at its highest level. And yes, it connects most to your, now some say your government, the Satanists, or just magicians, or just hidden figures. There, some of them are lost themselves. They don't know how they got themselves involved with this. So as you go, yeah, if you want to go into the rabbit holes, most of you will be fine and safe. Others are not. Yes, some are. The love and light community are, yes, at the beach looking at the water. And some of you are going deep into it. You're not afraid, and it's how else you're going to open this reality up is not to be afraid. Many of you are not, but of course, if you don't know the circumstances of it, the consequences of it, but overall, there's yes, dark magic here on the earth. Uh, Dark magic actually helped humanity be evolved. We say obviously it took over humanity. There is an Atlantean connection, of course. Basically, the Atlantean beings connected to dark crystal energies when they started losing their powers. So they found other means of technology. Some of them did sell themselves out. They didn't realize they were doing it at the time. Yeah, being misled. You see that on your world all the time. So Atlanteans, you can say, are misled like your government, current government's being misled. So the Atlanteans being misled by reptilian beings and Archon beings and so on. Atlantean beings can mislead your government that they practically created. Well, they're involved. They're behind the scenes. Fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional level. Some are obsessed with the fourth dimension because that's where they find their happiness. That's where we feel like all the answers are. Not always the answers are there. There's some despise the physical realities, as some of you have realized in your own incarnation. But Montauk is basically an energy field. It's a consciousness. Yes, it's good to know what you're getting yourself into. Yes, there are creature beings there. It can suck a soul. It can take over a soul, basically. Not that we're here for communication purposes. We're not here for that. Well, you have to get part of the government. Basically, the government energy connected to the elements of the DNA, unlocking it, which unlocks psychic ability, powers, manipulates the humans. Basically, it's how humans can control other humans, and you're understanding to heal that yourselves. Some of you have had remote viewing attacks by the government. You might not remember, but maybe it's time to start remembering. Yes, no longer being. Some of you have realized, some aren't realizing. Like, now, not to say the government is all this wise, smart. No, it's not. It's like a kid with a loaded gun. It doesn't know what it's doing. A lot of them, because a lot of them are not spiritually developed, as you can see. A lot of them are psychotic, but that doesn't mean they're spiritually developed. And so they just keep this stuff hidden because they don't understand it. So they get scared themselves. There are some that do understand it, and that freaks out some of your other branches of the government. It's like, wow, you understand this? Wow, you guys are creepy. It's also connected to like your World War II scientists from Germany. It's very similar to that. It's like gone to the next level. So as you go into your healing abilities and awareness, yes, there's a memo out there, the Wilson memo. You have to have some kind of disclosure. But as you can see, they're wiping out disclosure, making it harder and harder. Where UFO knowledge is just a myth. Doesn't mean it's not real. It's just it's being completely taken over, as you can see. But other energies will come through for that. Greetings. Consciousness of your Philadelphia experiment, where the human, yes, goes into the future, sees a future version of itself, gets scared, comes back lost, connects to parallel versions of your reality. Some of you do this already. Some of you are advancing your vibrations if it's necessary to connect. But yes, you can see it depends on where you want to be vibrationally. You can see like 10 versions of yourself, maybe not all at once, but one by one. I mean, you can say that's another form of healing. To like put your intentions out to see another version of yourself if you feel like you need that. Others don't need it. Many people don't really need it, but some do. Because that's also the network that you're tapping into. Basically, it's helping here, of course, helping others, but they don't necessarily have to see it. That's a Philadelphia experiment. It was like they had technologies to go through time, and they did not use it. Why? They used it. They were impatient, and they just didn't want to have any safe tests. They just ignored all that and wanted to just see what it would do. You say it was alien technology, you can say, we'll just leave it at that. And it was misused, of course. It was just a new toy. And they didn't understand it. They didn't want to understand it. It would take months, even years to understand it. And they did not want to wait that long. So that's why you hear the rumors of now they did make experiments that did work accurately, but the ones that failed, the ones that are kind of living scars still here. They have actually some of because they did take a ship and send it into the future, send it through time, send it to different places. So some of the shipmates went into a whole nother timeline, literally just created a whole nother life for themselves and other realities. Now, did the government know about? Not really, no, but many did disappear. So, and now when they go into the future like that, Usually they like a timeline's created for them. Doesn't mean they have a job or anything like that, but they're kind of lost. Do they remember where they came from? Sometimes, this case, I don't believe they just showed up on another timeline with amnesia. It's interesting though. Some of you might have those memories. It's like, huh? I don't remember my life since 14. That's kind of strange. So where'd you come from? Some of you have that. We know we're talking this. Some of you might feel like you came from another. It doesn't mean it was through alien technology. You never know. There's always a possibility of that. But for your U.S. government, they're just drunk on power. They want to take energies for others. They want to. They know they need humans here. I mean, they need people to hide what they're doing in plain sight. But that's why the illegals are coming in to make things more confusing. Well, because those in power know they'll always be in power. And it is, even with the illegals coming into the US, it weakens some of the power elite. It's like a way of blackmail, sabotaging them, or even other dark elite. It's like a war within the elite families. It just, tear everything apart. Like some elites are making money in Los Angeles or New York. Now things are not going, so it's an attack on them. Then you have new elites that come in, and so on. It gives you a little bit more context. You won't ever hear about it publicly, though. It's all done quietly. Brings you with our collective. Yes, we're a collective consciousness. Well, many want our knowledge because we see it all. Yes, we are bird energy. Well, is it occult energy? Because they know we can tap into different realms in a neutral way. But yes, there's someone trying to control the owl energies. Not to say that owl is bad, but it's used by occults to harness that power, as some of you know. To harness just all knowledge, even if it destroys them. The strongest will survive, yes. South Africa, the energy around the equator is where a lot of your power of your earth is harnessed. There's a lot of this alien or just experiments use energy, like basically regular or enhanced technologies to be used to create portals, which you'll never hear about. That also alters timelines. There's good luck on getting evidence of any of this. Some of you might have an idea of it. Doesn't mean it's always a government entity involved with it. Some of your elites are involved with things like that. It's something that they can just turn it on in their backyard, basically. Of course, it's a little bit more custom made hardware for that. Usually, it is and then you can use crystal energies. It's like creating your own version of CERN, but not to that level. It's like you have technology, custom made technology, crystals within it, and there's just a lot of bells and whistles there. So basically, an elitist can open up a portal. Now, what does that portal do? It can cause them harm. It can destroy them. They want to screw with your reality as much as possible. They do put the intentions to make themselves more powerful. They create their own version of a CERN to keep them in power, to give them insight into the unknown. So we're just putting this out there. Finding this is probably going to be difficult. But I imagine many of you aren't too surprised. It's just not something you might not think about. But the owl energy is a neutral frequency, but yes, can be used for all kinds of. An owl consciousness can be used like any technology. It can be used for good or be misused. You can tap into other realms that others aren't really looking at. But the owl right now on your planet is attempting to keep the peace, but also letting humans dive into themselves, meaning not to interfere. go where you need to go. If you need to go into the light, go into the light. If you need to go into the dark, go into the dark. We're here to be with you with whatever decisions you make, whatever you want to figure out about yourselves. Yes, realize timelines aren't always occurring as some of you like, but you are where you are for a reason. Some of you are keeping certain positive timelines going, while others are setting on fire. There's a lot of that going on. And some of you actually tap into those realities, the apocalypse timelines, where you see the intentions of others. That's why some of you see it that way.